Hey everyone, this is Jen Fishburne. Hello and welcome to my show, Preterism Changes Everything. So today let's start off with just a short little review. We are talking about creation, and so far we have seen that in the beginning of time, the Elohim created the heavens and the earth, and basically there was just a big blob of water. And that blob of water could be looked at as a birth. We have the imagery here of a baby being born. And then we went into the first day of creation. So that's where we had a light. That light is not the sun. I'm pretty sure about that. And now we're going to get into day 2, and we're going to pick up the pace a little bit, probably do day 2 and day 3 today. All right. So let's go ahead and read the passage for day 2 in Genesis 1 verses 6 through 8. And I'll just give you a little bit of my version of it here. And the Elohim said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." And the Elohim made the expanse and separated the waters that were under the expanse from the waters that were above the expanse. And it was so. And the Elohim called the expanse heaven. And there was evening and there was morning the second day. Now we're going to take a look at just a few of these words. We don't need to go through so many of them since we've seen many of them already. So we've built a good foundation so far. So we're going to build on that. So again, at the beginning, this might be minor, but it just always stands out to me. When the translators say, "Let there be," it's really just the word be. It's a command. So God was really commanding the expanse to be. And so I just like always kind of taking a look at that. All right. It just tells us about the power and the authority of who God, the Creator, was. Creators. All right, now let's look at the word for expanse, or some versions will say firmament. In the Hebrew, it's rakia. And what that means in the Hebrew is it's a solid, extended surface. It means it's beaten out like a piece of metal, and it's supporting the waters above the vault of heaven. All right, now it's like a dome over the earth. Here's the earth, here's a dome. And it was thought to be solid, perhaps visible. So now this dome actually mirrors the bronze laver that we see in the tabernacle or the temple, where the priests would wash their hands and their feet continually between the holy place and the altar. And we know that every piece in the tabernacle or the temple was meant to mirror something or point to something in the heavens. So this rakia has the same type of image of a piece of metal being beaten out into a bowl. Can I do this so you can see? A bowl shape, as just like the bronze laver did, and only it was inverted. So it was an inverted bowl. As in heaven, so on earth. So this is what we're seeing here. Now, does this mean that this is a temple dedication ceremony? No. The creation came first, and then the temple and the tabernacle, the other way around, actually the tabernacle and the temple dedication ceremonies were patterned after the creation week. So I hear this often, and it just amazes me that people kind of get this story backward. This is how people will read the Bible backward. So they'll see, oh, it was a 7-day dedication ceremony, and oh, there were things that mirrored creation. Yeah, it all mirrors creation, and it is a 7-day dedication ceremony, but that just means that it is patterned after creation. So creation came first. It has to come first. Creation has to come first. All right, and then of course there were things that were patterned after it. That just makes sense. That just makes common sense to me. Okay. All right. So now the rakia. Does the rakia exist today? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. We don't know what it looked like back then. Some believe that it was solid, and so that it blocked the light that was created in day 1 from reaching the earth, making room for the sun's light on day 4 instead. Some believe that it was removed at Noah's flood. Some believe that it was transformed into a clear glass dome over the earth, either at the flood or perhaps in AD 70. Some believe that it never existed at all. I don't know what their explanation is for it never having existed. But because I don't know exactly what it was in this particular passage, I cannot say if the rakia that we're talking about on day 2 still exists today or not. So if you have some insight on that, please feel free to let us know. Okay, the Elohim called the rakia heavens, which is plural. That word shamayim, which is translated sometimes as heavens, technically should be skies. This is the same sky that we'll soon see as where the stars are placed. So same word. Our sky is often called heaven in the Bible. So if we take a look at this passage again with just a little bit more understanding, I'm not going to translate the word rakia here because we have this misconception in our minds of what expanse or firmament is, and it's hard for us to grasp that. So I'm just going to leave it as rakia. And then just change a few of the words that I think need to be changed just to give us a little better understanding. So let's take a look at the passage now and how it should be. And the Elohim said, Rakia, be in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters. And the Elohim made the Rakia and separated the waters that were under the rakia from the waters that were above the rakia. And it was so. And the Elohim called the rakia skies. And there was evening and there was morning, day 2. Okay? So we have a beaten inverted bowl that is placed above the waters, separating the waters on earth from the waters above the sky. Now, are these the clouds? No, because the clouds are inside the dome, the bowl, the rakia. The waters being spoken of here are outside the dome. They're up top. Some say that this is why the sky looks blue, because the waters are above the rakia. So day 2 was separating the waters on the earth from the waters in the heaven or on the sky. That's the yin and the yang of the waters. Or if we take our analogy of God having a baby, when the baby is forming in the womb, there is also an amniotic water sac that is forming around that baby, which is full of water, but which is separate from the water that is in the growing baby as well. I don't know, I can't put all the details together for that analogy, but I definitely see a lot of separation going on with the baby, and the baby being separated, it's separated in the womb from the mother, it's separated by the amniotic sac. So there's a lot of similarities going on there. All right, so now let's get on to day 3. I think we've got time for day 3 today. So let's go right in and read the passage, verses 8 through 13. And I'll just read them mostly. Nope, I'm not going to read them even close to what they are in the original. This is going to be mostly to what I see it saying, okay? And the Elohim said, waters under the sky, be gathered together into one place. Dry land, sea. And it was so. The Elohim called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And the Elohim saw that it was good. And the Elohim said, let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to its kind on the earth. And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed according to their own kinds, and trees bearing fruit in which is their seed, each according to their kind. And the Elohim saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning the 3rd day. So let's, the first word we want to talk about here is eretz. Now, or earth. Earth is eretz in Hebrew. And many people know that. Eretz can be any size of a piece of land. So it can be small, such as sometimes just the land belonging to Israel is called Eretz. It can be the land that you can see that's within your purview. It can be all of the land within a particular subject. So if we're talking about the whole earth, it could be the land of the whole earth. Now this is one piece of land. So to me, this is the concept of earth starting as, think of a baby growing. It starts out small and it grows and grows and grows and grows and grows, right? Well, I think that it started out with a small piece of land, and one small piece of land, and that grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And when we get to a certain part of the Bible, we're going to see where that broke up into several different places, several different continents. All right. So to me, this is saying that the earth started small with one piece of land that came out from the waters, which were then divided into separate bodies of waters called seas. All right. So these seas, we know in the Bible, we have several different ones. We have the Mediterranean Sea, the Red Sea, the Dead Sea, the Sea of Galilee, even the Nile River. And I think any body of water is basically what this is talking about. The word seas is more generic, just meaning a body of water. Now, when waters were gathered together, the word there that means waters gathered together is actually mikveh. And some of you may recognize that word mikveh as meaning baptism. So this is pretty fascinating to me that it starts out with baptism. I do think that Genesis 1:2 was a baptism. It was the baptism of the earth. And then we have the word for baptism right here. So it actually means just a pool of water. So that can be a pool of any size. It can be small, it can be large, like a sea. But mikveh was a place where there was enough water to baptize someone. That's what it meant. So that's what we have here in the very, very beginning of the Bible, a mikveh. Now, let's think about this. When a baby is conceived, it has everything that it needs to grow into an adult if it is healthy, right? So inside the womb, the organs are beginning to develop, the limbs are beginning to grow, even the hair is going to start sprouting on that baby. So all the DNA is there, everything, all of the eggs for a little girl to grow in, what she's going, all the eggs that she will have are there. Sperm is there for a man. Everything that they need to grow into and develop into a healthy adult is there in that baby as they are growing in the womb. Well, that's the picture of what we see happening here on day 3. So all of the seeds and the DNA are already there. Now it's time for that baby to develop and grow. So the seeds start sprouting everywhere. Trees, bushes, plants, herbs, veggies, fruits, nuts. They were developing right on time. Now, have you ever planted seeds and watched them and then all of a sudden overnight they just sprouted? So that's the picture that I am seeing here. So on day 3, the land and the waters were separated. We have the yin and the yang of separation again there. And all of the seeds started sprouting. And all of this was good. So day 1, day 2, and day 3 were good, right? Evening and morning each day. And I think that's good for today. We'll end there. And tomorrow we'll come back and start on day 4. And so you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.